How's it going, everybody? Today on the show, we check out the new release for the firmware 2.1 for the Behringer WING. How you guys doing? Welcome to another Monday live stream. Today on the show, like I previously said, we're going to check out the new firmware that was just released for the Behringer WING. If it's your first time on the channel, hi, my name is Guillaume. I'm a live sound engineer, and I talk about pretty much anything that has to do with the world of live sound, console, microphone, in-ear monitors. You guys get the drill. First thing I want to say is hi to everybody in the chat. Hi to Nick. Hi to Dan. Good to see you guys. Welcome to another Monday live stream. And now, before you guys complain about anything, we're gonna read the release note of the firmware, and I built that scene here. So we're gonna take a look at that all together. We're gonna take a look at what basically. I'm not gonna go over everything. I'm gonna go over some of the cool thing that I believe that firmware 3.1, not 1.1, it's been a while, 1.1, 3.1 just give us, and we're going to have a good time over this. First thing, the dev did an incredible job. That's up to them. Yeah, they listen, man. They really listen. Hi. Welcome. Previously amazing update. The WING is seriously a beast. Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, you guys can call me a fanboy, but definitely the WING offer so much more than anything else. Almost double the price range. Feature-wise, a console that can do mono or stereo channels, mono or stereo buses, that can do, if you really go out of your way and make sure that you use everything, you can do up to 28 stereo in-ear mixes on that thing. The amount of built-in plug-in, and we're going to take a look at that because there's some new one in there. I didn't spend a lot of time around 3.1. I'm busy doing shows. But yeah, so much for the price, especially if you look at the compact or the rack. This is just crazy what you can do for not that much money. Charlie, what's up, man? Thank you very much for being a long-time member of the channel. Really appreciate that. So let me ask you before we begin, what's your favorite feature of the new firmware? What is the new feature that you guys like in the compact, or in the WING overall? Because it's not just for the compact. Nick, you mixed your first show on 3.1 last night. Dual dynamic on every channel. Oh, come on, man! No, you don't. You don't need to do that. Wonder what the one knob is about? Okay, we're gonna take a look at that. Favorite feature, the headphone cue direct. Okay, dual dynamic EQ, yeah, the dual dynamic EQ was really popular on another brand of console that start with a Y, or the CL QL stuff. But I think it's mostly all Yamaha to add the dual EQ. Patrick. Bonjour Patrick. Bonjour la francophonie. Good to see you, man. Good to have you around. All right. So, like we're doing, and like we've always done for the last years, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a firmware update. Because I'm still running the pre-release version. I'm still running 3.06- whatever dev stuff, so we're gonna do a firmware update on that. I'm going to take a second here and say, do you know why I have two different folders for my Behringer Wing? Because the firmware of the compact and the firmware of the full are not interchangeable. Same thing for the rack. If you guys do a firmware update, make sure that you have the right firmware for your console model. You cannot just grab any, it's not like on the X32. You cannot grab any firmware and update any console. You need to have the right version for the right model, physical model of console. All right, so in the compact, we have the release 3.1 with the date of November 7. That's usually what that number is, 2025 1107. We're gonna go update, and we're gonna update the console together. They did my ID of the quick drag. Okay, hold on. I'm going to update that. I'm going to read that. They did my ID of the quick drag select in source and grab thing at once. Okay. I'm going to go confirm. We're going to reset with the two knobs on the side here. We're going to let the magic happen on the console. Update in progress. So channel strip board being updated. Because I don't know if you know, but inside the console you have different motherboard. One for the fader, one for the internal computer, one for the other part of the console. And they can probably, well, judging by that here, they can definitely have firmware of their own, plus the brain itself has firmware of its own. So yeah, that is to be considered, or just a good thing to know about. Oh, the clock is bigger. They changed the UI just a tiny bit. The clock is bigger. Let's see if we have and we're gonna start to dive into this a little later. Let's see if on Surface, is there a way to change the clock? Or is it in general, maybe? Because I like the small clock. But yeah, around the clock section, no options. So, okay, now it's just bigger. No option there. It's just bigger now. All right, before we dive into figuring out everything on our own here, we gotta take a look at the PDF that is provided with the firmware once you download the firmware from the Behringer website. Be on the lookout again. Make sure that you download the right version for the right version of the firmware for the right version of the console that you have, and in there you will find this PDF along with did I lost my control here? Okay, maybe in the remote we had some change. Oh no, don't tell me that it's not working anymore. Let's go off. Let's turn them all off and all on again. Sometimes it could fix stuff. Oh no, did they do change to the MIDI again? Did I lost my MIDI interface? I think I did. So we're gonna have to change my page manually here. All right. Maybe just a clock in the dot of time. Maybe, but no. It's just a format. There is no big, or you have 12-hour with AM PM, and you have 24-hour. Okay, we're gonna first read the first point here is concerning the Wing Dante card. Wing Dante expansion card can be used with the oh yeah, this one is for Nick, actually. Sorry, the screen is really far away. I'm gonna try to read. It's really close for you guys, but I'm gonna try to read this one. The Wing expansion card can be used with the Wave module card. The following string for module registration card, blah blah blah. Check the Behringer indente module instruction in the document. So basically, hold on, you guys can. Oh man, it's bugging me so much. Hold on, am I correct here? Maybe it's OBS that is giving me trouble. Hold on. This one goes out to Nick because as soon as he had a Wave card, he started to do this. And before the previous update, before version 3 update, it was kind of working. Nick is such a troublemaker, as you guys would probably know. Hi, Sheriff. Good to see you, man. But basically what you can do is take the tray for a card. Like, I'm going to use this one here from Yamaha as an example. But basically you can take your expansion card from your wing, drop in the Wave card, and it's going to read that as a external, or it's going to use the Wave as the external card. Basically, you can now do this. So if you guys want to have a Dente internal, you can do that. If you want to have your Wave card on the module outside and maybe, I don't know, change it from time to time, or if you want to exchange between Wave and Dente card, put that on the external module on the slot card and you'll be good to go. You can interchange those pretty much. Make sure to follow the instruction, but you can interchange those. This is now working. And I'm going to try to use my command here, and that's not going to work. We're going to go to the other point in the firmware release, which is new compressor plugin, the even 88 compressor, the LTM compressor, and one knob compressor. Let's take a look at that first. This is the part that interesting me a lot. It's probably going to be repeated further down the line, and I've already talked about that quickly last week, just before the firmware officially got released. But now in every single block, like, it's still called the gate block or the gate model, but you have access to every single dynamic of the console. Meaning, in your gate block, you have your gate at the top, you have single dynamic EQ, dual dynamic EQ, de-esser, your Wave Transient Designer, Autorider, and the Soul Warm, which I believe were kind of where the gate block stop. I see a new guy in town that is not really named, but maybe we're going to take a look at this. After that, we have the compressor, compressor block, wing comp, wing expander, more on that later. Even 88 comp, the one knob in the SSL, and the other one is the LMT compressor. Okay, first thing I want to take a look at is the gate. Do we still have the ratio here? Yes, we do. Another thing that I didn't see previously is the wing expander. It's in the compressor. It's in the compressor, so it's a downward expander, or the or upward expander. Maybe the other way around. We're definitely gonna need to take a look at that, because unlike a compressor, I believe this one is gonna bring your signal up instead of bringing it down. We're gonna need to take a look at that. Or maybe it's just the expander gate with a ratio, or they actually made a expander. But we're gonna take a look at that a little later. Definitely something interesting and worth spending some time on. The only difference between the gate block and the compressor block is in the compressor block, well, you still have every single dynamic. The difference is, and I've talked about that last week, if we grab the wing compressor, you have two things that you can play around with. You have the crossover mode for the detector of the compressor, meaning when you send signal into that compressor, it's gonna react to the signal. But basically, this is a filter on the signal that you send in. So if you want to have a high cut, low cut, basically this is going to be useful if you want to turn a compressor into a de-esser. All the mode that you can do, all the option that you can play around with in the compressor. I usually leave that flat, but this is basically where you can play around with the crossover. If you guys want to maybe have a really picky gate, you can use this, because in this block you have option to go gate and use, oh no, actually you cannot do that in the gate. Can you? No. Well, you can do it in the key filter. But basically, you have access to more feature for every single model, depending on which block you're using. So in the first one, you're going to be limited to only having a side chain. And on the second one, you're not going to be limited to the side chain. You will have access to the detector that you can do all that crazy stuff you want. I would say this is more a advanced feature. I don't think anybody should be diving into this all the time. Like, if you want to change the detector of a compressor, it's to do something really specific. Let's say you want to have a let me go here. Let's say that you want to have a compressor that's going to react more to the higher frequency or faster to the higher frequency. You can probably do this with a crossover mode and maybe, you know, removing a little bit of low end in that crossover detector. So because the higher information will be louder, it will react faster to louder information. But I don't want to go too deep into that stuff. You guys get the idea. Or I would suggest you to go listen to somebody else that has way more experience and way more knowledge of compressor detector than I do. I kind of know how to use it. It's not something that I usually play around a lot with. So I know it's there, I know what it's doing, but not something that I feel comfortable explaining inside out, even if I kind of just did. Okay, moving on. Well, we're gonna check out the compressor. We have now the Neve 88, or even 88. Sorry, I read that backward. A couple comments here. Works great. I could bring the wave card with me and not have to open the console to change the wave. Yes. This upgrade is sick. Sick upgrade. Now aux channel of all those comps. Oh, okay. I'm gonna check those out. Proudly responsible for the no stressor bug FX. Okay. Thank you. It's a good thing to have that fixed. Don't you know what they changed? Fixed the tape machine plug-in frequency response. Yes, this is in the release note. Come on, guys. You guys going too fast. We're just looking at the first comp here. Come on. Well, this is a Neve style compressor. I don't have a lot of experience with these. This is more of the high-end stuff that I never had the chance to put my hand on the real unit before. Unlike the 1176 LA2A, where I had the pleasure in studio to deal with. We'll see. Hi, sorry, just come on now. No problem. Welcome. You can reset the insert. Okay, we're going to take a look at that. Is there a tap button on Wing Copilot? I don't know. I'm not using Wing Copilot much ever. So I'm not going to say I'm never going to use it, but I'm not using much right now. What else? Okay, Neve compressor, good. One knob compressor, so gain reduction. You basically crank it. And auto gain, is it for the output or the auto knob? We're gonna take a look at that maybe in the future video, where I'm gonna try to dive a little deeper into those compressor, because I've already done a live stream back in the day where we tried every compressor on kick, snare. Well, 1 week we did every single compressor on kick, every single compressor on snare, and I think I can cover these more in detail in the future. After that, we have the LMT compressor. I never had the chance to play with the real unit. Actually, I don't know what the real unit of this is based on, so if you guys have any clue in the chat. We have a speed, T-speed. I don't know what T stands for here, but speed's probably the attack and release. Transients, okay. Gain, shaper in compression with an amount, so like a LA2A. And compressor gain, so output gain, basically. Are you going to show us how to do a virtual sound check? That could be cool. Actually, I have a video covering that. Which one live was that? It's back 5 years ago, where, like, if you go back on my channel, the first live that I did when I deleted my channel and come back was do the kick on every single channel, or every the kick on every single compressor, snare on every single compressor, and I did that for a few weeks. This was during the pandemic. I had time to do that, so. The LTM is like the SSL talkback mic circuit. Okay, so am I wrong by saying it's the sound of In the Air Tonight? We'll take a look at that later. Just before we dive or we go anywhere else, note also the 2-point around the W Live card. Yes, meaning it's an external slider board and not an internal module. Okay, good to know. So it's probably going to change if you put a Dante card or a Wave card in there. It's probably going to react with the 2 dots. Am I right, Patrick? I just want to read the chat quickly. I was just recently successful getting your Dante card updated with the firmware 3.06. Took forever. So just a bit gun-shy updating to no, it's working as far as I know. There was no problem with Dante as far as I understand. It should not have touched that. I personally had a really hard time with Dante update because I don't know if you guys remember, but I used to have a Wave card in there that I never had time to use, and I swapped the card. We updated the 3.1, and I tried to put my Dante card back in here, and I end up being on a gig, having all my input working, but none of my output working, and I was supposed to record the gig. So I desperately looked in everything that I had for an SD card. I didn't. I asked one local crew guy if he had a USB wire, because usually I carry my laptop with a bunch of USB wire, and that day they were all left over in my house or on other gig. So yeah, man, it was suck. I learned the hard way that on 3.06 you needed to do a firmware update, and firmware update is not automatically done from the Automate website. I had to jump through hoops to get there. Drew Brashler got a video about that. He covered that, how to do it. It's a little complicated, to be honest. I don't know whose fault it is. It's probably Dante. It's probably Automate that did not upgrade the firmware already from their website in Dante Updater. But yeah, Dante, as far as I know now, is working great. Can you check if it's still possible to reset the EQ by throwing another one and returning it back? Let's take a look at that. Let's do a really cool EQ. Definitely do this on all your vocals. It's definitely gonna help you, like, oops, I'm gonna, my camera's freaking not working. Okay, definitely do those kind of EQ on your vocal. Definitely gonna get that going through. And we're gonna change the model. potentially the SSL, and it went back to be flat. So yep, still no change there. Do we have any change in the EQ section? I don't think so. The Neve was there. We'll get back to this. I just want to make sure that we go through the chat quickly. Tab button in the delay effect now. Okay, let's take a look at that. Now let's assign that to a channel just for fun. Okay. You need to make a shortcut for it, but it's way bigger. Which one are we talking about? No new EQ effect. Okay, thank you very much, Patrick, for pointing that out. The new update feels like an early Christmas gift. Can't wait to use it. Definitely. I mean, you can choose the new one. Maybe not everything, but just kick and snare. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at that. We just check out the EQ. You can check if it's possible to reset an EQ by throwing another one on top of it. Yes, we just do that. I found another, maybe not a bug, something that doesn't feel right. When you choose key tab for a gate source, try to change the gate emulation and listen to the key tap on screen. Okay, hold on, we'll do this. Are we gonna crash the console? You said when you choose key tap, so okay, in the gate section, key, okay, key solo. Let's go. Let's do something weird here. When you choose key tap for a gate source, or are we talking about the key source or the key filter? Okay. When choosing key tap for dynamic EQ. Okay, dynamic EQ. Let's go to dynamic EQ. Let's see if we can have that. The dual dynamic EQ or just the regular dynamic EQ. If we use key source, okay, let's go change that band solo. Okay, so right now I would be in band solo. Turn that on, and if you want me to change the unit, right? And let's say if I change do I change to a gate? Okay, what is supposed to happen here? I don't know what I did wrong or that I did right. Dynamic EQ, band solo, key tap. Oh yeah, this is new. Post fader, let's go. This is really cool. This is really, really cool. Okay, press the key. Hold on, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Don't think the tap button has the delay effect before. Okay. Wait, dynamic EQ. Hold on. Okay, let's go dynamic EQ. Dynamic EQ, not dual dynamic EQ. Okay, key tap. press key tap in dynamic EQ. This one right here. And with that list open, try changing the gate model. Okay. Okay. Sorry, it's so chaotic. Yeah, don't worry. Okay. So, change the key tap. Try to open, we open up the menu. And we should try to change the gate model. So the list is over it on top. Can I change it, and can I change the gate model? And it all disappear. Or was it because the... No, it doesn't crash the console, but if I'm doing this and switch to this one... Yeah, it's just a UI thing. It's just a matter of what's on top of what. I agree with you when you're doing this, your key tap. If it's still open, you leave it open. You should be able to do this, and that layer should pop on top of it. And you're selecting your new EQ, and it should remain there. Not a bug, but definitely a UI thing that we can address. Like, it's just it's probably low on the priority list, but it can definitely be there. All right, thank you very much for showing up, Omni Studio. Hi all, finally catching you again. Hey, good to see you, man. Welcome back to the Wing Firmware 2.1. On the downside of this, yeah, if you want to work fast, sometimes it could be in the way. Well, I don't see. Again, I think it would be a good idea, because let's say that you're doing 7 things at a time. Go like, I don't want to change. Do I want to change the key tap? Or you go, yeah, no, let's just do whatever. It should be under, but nothing to worry about here. One thing I should on priority list would be showing next scene when changing scene with CC button. Shame it's not by default. Do they have the space to do that physically on the console? I don't know. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the expander eventually. Like, why is it not a gate, or how different is it from a gate? But it's definitely an expander. So the gate is now the gate, not an expander gate, even if the gate still has expander function, right? So is it twice the same plugin? Yeah, that's because if you do from library it shows. Okay. Sir, please, what the function key tap for? Okay, let's go dive into this. Exactly what we looked at. Let's go with the gate here. Do we have that option? No. Hold on. Let me grab something like maybe the dynamic EQ. Hold on. Am I in the wrong section here? If we go dynamic EQ. Hey, hold on. Where is it? I'm gonna remove that. Okay. Let's say that you want to use a dynamic EQ like this to do my vocal, making space for vocal in a mix trick. This is what I usually do. I take my guitar. Yeah, I got that right. Sorry. Okay. Remember to choose the key. You need to choose the key source of something else before it pop-ups. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, if you want to do exactly what like I'm doing right now, and you want to use your dynamic EQ to turn down your guitar, so you insert that on your guitar and you use a vocal or your lead vocal to do a cut in EQ in the mid-range for your guitar. So every time that the lead singer is gonna sing, it's gonna drop that guitar from the mid-range. It's basically gonna leave space in your mix for the vocal. When he's singing, it's gonna drop down the guitar. With the key tap, before you were forced to use the input only. Now what you can do is choose the tap point. So for the trigger of that dynamic EQ, let's say the channel 2 is my vocal, I can use my vocal and I can now choose the tap point. Do I want after the filter, the low cut? Do I want after tap point 3, 4, 5, pre-fader, post-fader, and post-processing. Post-processing mean the second insert point just before going into the PA. You can now choose where you're gonna take the signal for the detector. Really advanced. I don't want to say too advanced, but really advanced setup. Like on the dynamic EQ, if you want to use a key source for that, and you want to use the key tap point for that. Yeah, it's a really advanced technique. Like you need to understand about routing to use that thing, or to have the ID to use sidechain here. But definitely something really useful. Like it's really fun to have that, but it's not something that a lot of people, I think, on the day-to-day will use, or not that much. Do you think the EQ works good? I have a feeling it's very mid. Trying to do a de-esser doesn't work really well. We're going to come back to this in a few seconds. Thank you. Now understand. Hey, my pleasure. This is why we're here. We're here actually to just have fun with all that gear. Let's go back to your question here. Do you think the dynamic EQ worked good? I've used the dynamic EQ before, especially to do like my guitar tricks like I'm doing most of the time. I'm putting a dynamic EQ usually the last thing in the chain, just after, after the monitoring. And for my front of house mix, I use the lead vocal to do a cut in that little EQ here. So it's helping me good for that. As a de-esser, I never tried it as a de-esser. You can probably do it if you're doing something like this around 6-7K. You set up your ratio, your threshold, and your release time. You can probably do a de-esser with that thing. I'll be curious to try it with the dual EQ, because you can do probably a de-esser around in the 7, 8, 9K. And you can probably do with the other EQ, I don't know, proximity effect, maybe somewhere around 250. You can probably bring that down when needed. Like when the singer is going loud, if you don't want that to be too muddy, you can probably do a dynamic EQ in the low mid, doing a dynamic EQ for the S's. And it's only taking one slot of your processing. So, yeah. Definitely a good thing. You can do a lot of sidechain with that stuff. You can probably, depending on where you want that to be, you can do exactly like I did. You can take a channel by itself, and I'm on channel 1, but I'm using the key source of channel 1 itself, and I can change the tap point for that. So I can change input. Well, it will be exactly the same thing as self, but if I want to do this and use the pre-fader config for the dynamic EQ as a source, I want to say, or maybe if I want my dynamic EQ to be further in the chain, but I want to have the input as the trigger for that. It's really niche nitpicky stuff that you can do with the key tap. Not something that a lot of people will do, to be honest. But good to know it's there. When I'm saying that the Behringer Wing is swinging way over its price point, that's the kind of feature that definitely is over the price point. Well, does this mean that the console has the ability to see same signal from different tap point? Would that mean that the console is capable of sending same channel from all tap point to bus? I don't think they have enough DSP for that. It's a very good idea with dynamic EQ, exactly like we said. Definitely use that. Yeah, thanks. Well, yeah, I know. I know, right? I know I'm good. Sorry, can't say that with a straight face. What would be your starting parameter of attack and release for the proximity effect? Probably fast attack. Let's say fast attack like in the range of maybe 5 to 7, because you really don't want that muddiness to go away. You just want it gone. And the release, I don't know, 250? Something like that. Is there a second key source for second DEQ? No. It's one key source for the block, as far as I understand. It's not per dynamic EQ. I don't think it's meant to be like, I don't think it's really meant to act like the way that I'm doing it right now, so. We'll see. Let's move on. What else do we have in the release note? Because we're only at talking point number 2. Let's go take a look at that. New compressor, we convert that. New dual dynamic EQ plugin available in gate and compressor. Sure, we just covered that. Expanded noise gate and compressor section available on aux channel. Okay, aux channel. Let's go take a look at the aux channel. Let's go here. Let's go A1. Input, we can probably bring that down. Gate, we have one of each available. We have the, do we have the combo? Yes, the PSC combo, it's there. So, okay. We, what are we missing here? Dynamic EQ? Okay, we don't have the dynamic EQ. We don't have the dynamic EQ on this one, on the aux channel. But I can live without the dynamic EQ, right? Is it the dynamic EQ? Yes. Okay, the soul warmth, the dynamic EQ is different. Other than that, they now those channels are really useful because you can definitely do a guest vocal with 1176 into an EQ. Do an EQ for 58. Do we still have? We still have the same EQ. That's good. Low cut. Do we have the low cut? Did we lose the low cut on those channel? I think. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think we had the low cut here. We didn't have to go through this menu here. Go cut and use the first EQ as a low cut. Not that I cannot do with it. I can probably do. I'm probably fine with that, but I think the low cut was an option in the setup menu here, which is not anymore. Like it's the filter section basically is not there on the channel. I think that was never been on aux. Okay. Well, if it's not there and you want to use it, you just go into setting. You can change from parametric shelving or cut. Same thing for the higher frequency. and your first basically dad band and dad band become I cut low cut. You just have 4-band plus I cut low cut, which honestly is enough. Nowadays, it's not, again, I'm gonna repeat myself, it's not like in the older day where you had to EQ the PA so much and you had to crank that stuff to sound good. Nowadays, PAs just sound good. Not much that you need to do there. Okay. That's good. That's good. We're gonna take a look at the other stuff in a few minutes. That's still enough EQ point. Yeah, there we go. Speaking of EQ point, do we have... What are we missing in... Oh, we're missing the match EQ in the aux. And that was always a thing. I remember that. Okay. Let's go to the other point. Let me see. We have new dynamic EQ, expanded noise gate, direct input to phones, and speaker monitoring bus. Okay, let's take a look at that. I know Nick is really into that stuff. Let's take a look at the section here. Where would that be? Direct input to phone. Is it in the routing section? Anybody got a pointer for me here? Is it in the... Oh no, it's the direct in. Okay. That was not there. Phone setting, direct in. Can you do channel and bus and matrices? Okay. The reason why you want to do this is for mostly communication. Meaning, if you are on a show, if you are a monitor engineer, if you are an engineer mixing in a booth, if you are, if people need to talk to you, like Nick is back right now. Is the signal mixed with the source? Yes, I'm pretty sure it is. But the idea of why you want to use this is, let's say we're going to take matrix 8 here, and it's going to be on. If I understand that right, of course. Is it the source mix? It's probably going to be the source mix. Do we have a level for that? But anyway, the way that I'm using this most of the time is when I'm having talkback on a stage. Let's say that I'm building a talkback mix, meaning I'm taking my matrix 8 and I send all my talkback from front of house to my band leader to my backline guy, my talkback, and I can have that on all the time in my headphone. Is it still, can you still do that in the matrix section? That's going to be my first question. If I go to matrix 8, here do we have, okay, the way that I used to do this is by going into direct input for my matrix. I was listening to my matrix all the time, and I was turning on at 0 dB my headphone into matrix 8, and for me to listen to everybody's mix and listen to my solo, I was going into matrix, hold on, I was going into matrix 8, and I was using my matrix 8 as the source for my headphone. Right now that will be double, so I'm gonna put it off, but this is how I usually do that. That way I can have in my headphone at all time matrix 8, where I send all my talkback mic, front of house and everything, and my phone mix or my solo mix. Now I don't have to do this anymore. Now what I can do is I can go Turn that off, bring that down. We can go from the phone menu and I can have my Matrix 8 in my headphone. I would need to figure out if the source mix is doing something about this. But definitely something really cool to do. Shout mixer. I need to do a video about shout mixer. I don't think enough people know what a shout mixer is and if they need it or not and how useful that could be. But the signals mix back with source, yes, okay. Source mix being your main source, bleed in when having solo, okay. The direct is post fader. Always fun to talk to friends, right? You can do it in Matrix, but when you have stuff solo, you can hear talkback. No, actually I can't hear the talkback when solo with that method. Direct in is post fader. Is that the opposite of what direct should be? Well, it's probably post fader of the Matrix. So, well, it's, yeah, direct. Debatable here. Great thing you can change the gain in user signal. What? Okay, we're gonna dive into this a little later. Source mix isn't related. Okay, so good to know. Source mix bring the main cue. Yeah, when you heard this stuff. So okay, good. I got it. So the source mix has nothing to do with that thing. So forget everything that I said about that. We direct in will be post fader of the Matrix, but I think it's a good thing. I don't think it should be pre fader of that Matrix. If you want to bring your level down, you should be allowed to do this, or to hear your communication mix lower in your solo or versus your solo. So really good way to go with that. No, you can't hear the stuff in the Matrix when you have stuff soloed. Well, this is how I used to do my shout mixer, Nick. Maybe we're not getting that right. Maybe I'll show you the process that I'm usually doing. Is I enable my direct input of phone in my Matrix 8. So that, okay, it's not the solo bus, but if you're not using the solo bus, you're using the phone bus. If I'm soloing channel 1, like right now I'm soloing channel 1, I should hear the talkback over that. Because my phone signal is not routed through phone, and the way that I'm routed, I'm using output, aux out, phone, and I replace my phone mix from here to be my Matrix 7 and 8. Hey, I don't want to say that you're wrong here, man, but this is what I do. That way, I'm always listening to my Matrix, but everything that I press solo on, or I could do it the other way around. I can do I can do not phone here, and I'm gonna get to my Matrix. I can do not phone here. I could do solo bus, but is solo bus only gonna be for the buses, not the input? If I'm doing phone here, I know it's gonna work, but I'm doing it this way. Yeah. I see. Well, you know I'm right, man. Like, sometimes. I'm always right sometimes. That should be on a coffee mug. I'm always right sometimes. The nice thing with the new direct in the Q mixes, you saved the Matrix. So actually, do you save the Matrix? because if I'm creating a shout mixer with that, yeah, I'm right 50% of the time. Yeah. You're right. You're right, Nick. You're right 50% of the time. But seriously, I don't think you save a matrix doing that, because if let's say that matrix 8 is our shout mixer, I'm sending all my channels into that. Let's say this one. I'm sending channels into that matrix, sent to 0. Let's say sent to 0. All my channel now are sent in there, and I'm bringing that back in my headphone by going into the headphone menu and select matrix. Here I'm gonna go default main 1. So by default, I'm listening to main 1 plus the matrix, and if I'm listening to a bus, if I solo a bus or a channel, it will do that. But I don't understand why I'm saving a matrix by doing that. I could the thing could be true if you only have one microphone. Let's say that you only want to listen to the tech director or the music director. You can have his channel, let's say his talkback channel 32, straight into your ear. That would save you a matrix. That way you don't have to create a shout mixer. You just create a channel, or you just have that channel being spoken to you. Or if anybody has like a single talkback on stage, if you're doing monitor and you have, you know, the band talkback, usually bands have a mic next to the drum. The singer can go there, talk to the drummer, talk to the crew. When you go to that mic, everybody needs to hear that all the time. So great way to do that. So yeah, in this situation, you save a matrix for that. But most of the time, I have multiple talkbacks, so I would need a matrix to do that. Yeah, you save the matrix if it was 1. Yeah, well, you're right, Nick. Again, you're right. Well, usually there's just a monitor FOH talkback, and not always. Most of the band... Okay, Bart, you're right. Everybody's right. Everybody's right. Yeah, most of the time, to be honest, most of the band that I'm working with, either the drummer has a talkback, the musical director has a talkback, front of house, myself, and the backline guy, so we can talk to each other. Like, the backline guy doesn't speak much, the front of house guy doesn't speak at all during the show, or if we lost a PA, stuff like that. But most of the time, it's not like... It's only the musical director, the music director, that will talk to everybody, give out cues, or some musician will talk to me. Hey, can I get more of this? Can I get more of that? So they do want to do mix changes, but that's pretty much it. Well, I guess I'm typing what you said with a delay. Yeah, pretty much. And funny enough, with my new setup right now at home. My stuff has a delay, so I feel a little bit of back and forth going in and out. I have about 2 seconds of real-time delay of when I'm speaking, doing my camera change, and the camera being broadcast wirelessly to my computer. So, hey, long time no see. Well, good to see you, man. Welcome back. You missed a full hour of the stream. We're done here. No, we're not. Okay, let's move on to another point that we have here. So direct input to phone. Now and speaker monitoring buses. So now we know that this could be useful for us. Multiple source can be selected on the source screen by touch and drag. Parameter change are applied to select sources. Okay. Can you do multiple patch? That would be my first question. But let's go into source, okay? Source. Can we select that? Okay. We used to be able to do that in our matrix. Can I rename that just for fun? Let's see how it's gonna react. Let's go. We're gonna name that 1. It named all my input 1. All right. If I go, oh, what did I do? Okay, source. Okay, hold on. Source. Naming, nothing. Enter. Okay. Oh, it didn't do it for all. Look at that. Let me try it again. I want to select them all. And I want to go rename. Nothing. Next. Did it? Okay, it removed the name for everybody. Can we do a multiple action gain to 0? Did it bring all the gain up? Okay, hold on. Let me try something. Let me crank some gain here and there. Not having all the same gain. Let's say here the gain is at 2.5. I'm going to select all those input. It's selected here on the left. Hold on. I need to do this with the screen on. Hold on. I want you guys to see. I have different gain. I have different gain here. Channel 1 is at minus 2.5. Channel 2 is at 30. Channel 3 is at 12.5. Because I first selected channel 1, my gain here is at minus 2.5. If I'm moving the gain, I think they will all go down and up. Yes, they all went to 0. But the thing is, and I'm going to do this on purpose. I'm going to crank all the gain here except channel 24. I'm going to bring that one to 0.75. Well, actually, let's do it just with 2 channel. I'm going to go channel 23. I'm going to also highlight 24. And if I bring it down, I think it will crank the gain like crazy eye on channel 24. If I just go 1 notch, it's gonna bring both channel to minus 42. So, ooh, man. Ooh, dangerous. Really dangerous. Because if you double, let's say that you're doing this and you have a wireless mic that you usually have at 0, you have a 58 next to it, and you go, oh, I want to drop the gain for both channel. If you're doing this, you just instantly crank that gain to plus 27. That could feedback like crazy. No multiple patch. Hey, Robert! We have, ladies and gentlemen, say hi to Rob. Do you use a secondary touchscreen monitor? If yes, which one? No, I don't. I just use the console. I tried to... Yeah, sorry about changing camera. I tried to go as small as possible every time. I'm not even using like a Raspberry Pi with that thing, because there's definitely a lot of stuff that you can do with a Pi and let's say Patrick software and the console itself, and I'm not even doing that. When I go out on a show, I want to have the console. That's it. Maybe I can stick a Raspberry Pi in there and and poke a hole through the side for HDMI port and a screen, so you can have that. Or actually, I cannot wait for somebody to figure out how to put a wave server in there, like putting standoff on the chassis and drop a mini PC with a wave server in there, so you have your built-in in the console wave server. There's enough space in there that you can probably do that. Let's go crazy. But yeah, no, I tried to go as small as possible. This was the arrow issue, show you the bug. Yes, Nick, definitely. I reported that. Don't worry about that. Gonna have to repeat that all over again. You don't see, we don't see. I'm sorry. Too much each generated? Nah. Why not put a fan? If you're poking hole on the side of the console, you can probably hook a fan. Well, I can't wait until we create custom screen lock. Yeah. Definitely something that I would like to try. Hold on, guys. My friend Simon, who's always texting me during my live stream. Merci, Simon. All right. Let's go to another point, but definitely something that you be careful here. If you initialize, I think it's going to be good. If you want to initialize all those channels, you can do that. But be aware. Be aware of the gain or the phantom power, because if you're doing this, you just turn on phantom power on all 24 input of your local. I don't think that's a problem because it mute the channel when applying phantom power on the console, so that will not create anything bad. But definitely the gain, it's how do they call that in the programming world? It's not relative, it's, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's not a relative manipulation, it's a everything manipulation. I think, I don't know how hard that would be, but because it could be problematic, I think this should be relative. Absolute. Thank you. It's an absolute value, not a relative value. I think it should go down to have that relative, and once the preamp is down, it's just keep going down but cannot go down, keep going down but not go down. And if you want to bring it back up, now it will follow. But I think on the way up or down, it should be relative. Or it should always stick to the lowest value. Because it's never a bad thing if the gain go down and you bring it back up. But if you try to go down and you crank the gain by 27 dB on one side because it's the next value, which is, I understand, but man, it can create some really weird stuff. Can you change multiple icon? Probably yes, you can. Can change multiple color. Basically, it's a group function. On other console, it's group function. Group function. I stuck a knock in the underside of my full-size wing running Wave Super Sound Grid and tuck a portable monitor into the under gap. Oh no, you put that in the burrito warmer. Always connected and ready to go. Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you see, so somebody did it. Somebody did it all already. Oh, really interesting here from Nick. Is it possible to have a second wing take over another wing? Really interesting to do some remote control. Maybe with an app. Maybe Patrick's got an app for that. Yeah, using an external app as a proxy. Yes. Is the upgrade limited to the wing compact only? No, it's not. It's all the Behringer wing. The gray, the black, the rack, full size and compact all together. You can use this custom control to set up another console. Yeah, definitely. We have more colors now. Yes, definitely something that we need to take a look at. I'm a huge fan, and let me go take a look here. I'm a huge fan of the color white. Do we have a white option if I assign a channel? Yes, we do. Oh, well, it's not really white, it's more cream, but I'm a huge fan of the color white for my lead singer. Oh, there's way more color now. Why don't just give us a color picker? We can just pick whatever we want, but now orange, yellow, blue, blue. They changed the blue, the default blue, by the way. Purple, pink, another shade of pink, red, another shade of orange, another new seashell pink, orange brown-ish, close to this one but less bright, green, another green. Oh, I like this one. Kind of a dim grayish and white. It doesn't respond super great. Well, it does respond well on the LED of the channel itself, but really like the new color. Thank you very much for adding white in there. I love that. I love all my singer in white. I wish we could do a brighter white, but yeah, that's the way it is. My ID of this is batch editor, so you can make file like 6-string choirs, and you can send them all fast. Yes, definitely, Nick. You can do like cool manipulation with that. Using the CC control and other ones that require MIDI. No, I will let you guys figure that one out. Maybe there's more what? Layers? Let's take a look at the setup menu here. We have all these channels that are now... Okay, if you keep your finger on it, it doesn't remove them, it just add them. Good thing. We're going to go initialize on all of that. And that's cool. Also, a good thing that I point out while I'm there, you can do tags, meaning... if you guys want to mute your input on the Behringer wing, you can mute the source, not just the channel. You can mute the source. From this menu here, you could take a mute group and mute the source by adding a tag to the source. That means if I have mute group 1 enable right now, and I press, well, if I enable mute group 1 right now, nothing's gonna go in my console. It will mute the source. Something to know about. For setting a group of instrument, we would really make a use of ganging. But it's possible to add in as a feature. Like other consoles, like more expensive stuff like the Digico have ganging function, or the HD has ganging function. But yeah, definitely something that we can take a look at, because most of the time I could select multiple channel, or we should just be able to select multiple channel once you press down on a channel and you select how many you want to have, like kind of when you build a DCA, and you can have ganging that way. Could be really cool to have that. You just take a parameter, change that for all the selected channel. Like sometimes, what I like to do from time to time is with with some bands, I like to select, well, actually now I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to go in my source menu, and I'll be able to, no, actually I can't, because it's going to be absolute value, not relative value. We need to have relative value, because I would like to select all my input from AES50A, all my 48 input of a band, and I would like to be able to just bring the gain down 1 notch or 2 notch, because at some point, everybody keep turning their stuff louder, and I would like to just be able to just bring everything down 1 notch of gain. So, okay, really nice feature, but this should work. My suggestion for the dev, and I will probably write to them about that, will be to have gain work as a relative value instead of a absolute value. Usefulness will be to do exactly what I should just show you guys and avoid accident like I just showed. Like if you have one here that is all the way up, you select all your other channel. Actually, I need to do it this way. If I'm selecting the channel that has a higher gain, if I bring it back up, everybody goes to maxed out. That could be dangerous. Please. Any useful use for tags? Yes, I'm using tag all the time. Tag is the way on a channel. We're going to go here, channel tag. Tag is the way that you're going to assign your channel to a DCA, to a mute group. I'm not going to go over the talk stuff for now. Or, well, I could, but most of you guys won't do that. You can create a tag and use all the channel in there and do like a little bit of like grouping, but mostly mute group and DCA is the main use for tag. Definitely useful. On all my show, every single time, my mute group 1 is going to mute the whole band. Mute 7 and 8 is going to mute my effect. 7 is going to mute all my reverb, and 8 is going to mute all my delays. This is how I've been working for years. This is just the way that I do things. But yeah, really, really useful. Tags are like just to do DCA or just to do mute group for all my channels. Tag is the way to go. A lot of useful stuff in here. Indeed, relative value, yes. Agreeing with me on that. Thank you very much. Well, shouldn't the trim function work for that case? Yes, but I don't want to change the trim. I would like to change the value of the gain for all my input. So I can go through all my channel, go here in the trim, and actually right now this is trim because I don't have any input, but I can go here and I can select all my channel one by one, turn the gain down by a notch, turn the gain down by a notch for all my channel. It's doable, but really it's taking a long time. It's taking a long time for me to do that. Making custom tag? No, I don't use that. Okay, so here's your answer. Why made tags or custom tags are really good. It's like to mark some stuff or using the program apps like I don't know if you guys know, but here in the chat we have Patrick Gilles Maillot. He has a website. Go check out his website, x32ram.com, x32ram.com. He's got a bunch of software designed for x32 wing, integration with Reaper. Used compact full-size wing for DAW work. He's got a really large and cool bunch of program that he's developing himself to get along with the Behringer stuff and the wing, the X32 Reaper. So guys, go check out his website, I'm pretty sure you're going to find something there. And you also encouraging a local dev. x32ram.com, x32ram.com. Patrick, if you want to write down your website for everybody, if they want to go visit, go see what you have in store to offer. Do you have any deal for Cyber Monday? Anything in the in the plan for Cyber Monday? Any 50% store-wide discount? Trim is a channel parameter, gain is source parameter, so you won't be able to, shouldn't be able to affect from a source. Yep, you're right, definitely. And it's not the same thing. If I have clipping on some preamp, I want to turn down the preamp. Turning down the trim is not going to avoid having distortion first in the signal chain. No special deal today. Yeah, it's super cheap already. No, please guys, go take a look at Patrick's website and go give him some of your hard-earned money for a really cool software that he's done. He's really cool. He's really, really helpful for the community. So if you guys want to pay back, please do. All right, moving on to another point in the list here, because we're going to be here until 4 in the morning if we keep going at this pace. Multiple source can be selected on the source screen. Okay, we covered that. Preamp gain and phantom power accessible through the user patch. Okay, we're going to go over this one kind of quick, I believe. If we go in routing, and if we go in our user signal from here, if we have preamp, did I did that wrong? Yes, user patch. Sorry, my bad. Local input 1, local input 24. This is why user patch are there for. You can create a stereo pair with non-consecutive channel, and now you have access to gain. Is it independent? Yes, it's fully independent. So you can have different amount of gain. Oh, and is this normal? I cannot use the knob on the side or anything to adjust the gain. I need to do it manually here with the fader. I cannot turn the I cannot use the screen knob to do that. I don't know if it's normal or not, but definitely a cool way to adjust different trim level. You know, sometimes you would like to have a channel a couple dB off, or maybe you're in a situation where you're doing a stereo pair with something that should not be a stereo pair, like I'm doing on guitar. When I can live, I'm using a 421 and a SM57, one next to the other, and I'm using the trim to make that a stereo source to have a I'm using that on 2 different speakers when possible, but I like to have those like 421 on one side, 57 on the other, and I match the level. Usually I'm used to do that with the trim in the console, but you match the level, you make sure that you are good as a user patch, and you can have that in the PA stereo. So 421 on one side, 57 on the other, but the gain do not respond the same on both microphones. They're not fully matched, so that will be a good way to do that. Okay, let's go over another point. This is a really cool thing that we can do now. Initializing copy. The toolbox include bus to bus and hold on. The initialized copy toolbox include bus to bus and bus to matrix feeds. Okay. Now you can copy that, so I didn't know about that. So if you don't know what we're talking about here, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go here. We're gonna take a channel and the initialize and copy. Now they added bus to bus feature and bus to main feature in both the initialize and both the copy menu. So yeah, those menu basically. It just copies stuff or initialize stuff. Okay. What else do we have? Insert effects reset button without changing the processor model. Okay. We're gonna insert an effect here. We're gonna insert a delay. Hold on. And now we have the reset button, and I'm not showing that to you guys. When you are, I'm selecting here a channel. We are on the second insert effects number 1. If we change a parameter, you can basically bring that back to default by using the reset. Are you sure you want to reset? Confirm. Maybe I would not have gone with that menu. I would just have a hold for 1 second, floop, and it will go reset. But not a bad thing. If your reverb is out and you want to bring back your reverb to the initial setting that you had, or your delay to the initial setting that you had, you can just press reset and it's gonna come back to this. It's a really cool thing. Is it for everything? Is it just for the time? What about the amp? Okay, it does for the amp. It does for pretty much anything. The channel strip. Yes, it does it for everything. Gonna reset, confirm. All right. Really cool feature. If you want to reset your stuff, you can now. Set up surface fader select layer. Hold on, we're gonna go set up surface fader screen layer. Fader screen layer link, which enable, hold on, I cannot read because my face is in the way. I'm just gonna bring that up just a tiny bit. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. So set up surface fader section, fader screen. Link switch enable the main display and fader layer to show different channels. Okay, so if I'm right now it's off, we're gonna assign that. I'm gonna turn that on. I'm on channel 1 here on my console. We're gonna go here, we're gonna turn that on. And can I keep my channel 1? Okay, if I'm changing the layer on the console, if I'm not selecting a channel, it's gonna move the fader, but it's not moving the screen, which I believe was changing before. If I go back here and let's say I'm selecting channel 14, if I'm changing that, no, it didn't. Hold on. What did I do wrong? What am I not understanding? Okay, it's off right now. Is it gonna do something? I don't understand what it does. In the release note, hold on, let's go take a look at this again quickly. Set up surface, okay. Screen layer link, switch, enable the main display and the fader layer to show different channel. Is it with the arrow? No. Okay. I'm not fully sure about that one. Maybe you guys in the chat can yell at me. What am I doing wrong? Gain on fader is on the list. Ooh, I'm not sure I like that. I think there's a Setting in setup surface, just like any screen setting for using the knob. Okay. Let's take a look. I'm gonna turn that off for now. Patrick, you said setup surface, select any screen setting. For using the knob. Hold on. I remember something about that. I just don't remember where it is. Show fader value, no. Okay, we'll go over that. Fader select. It's probably right in front of me and I don't see it. Full fader paging, no. Fader select, fader select. Fader select screen layer link. Is it that one? Did I got that wrong? No, it's not. It's not that one. Hold on. Okay, I'm not getting that one, guys. Sorry. We're just gonna move over to it. Fader access to custom control configuration screen by pressing the setup button. Oh yeah. If you press the... I remember seeing that one. If you press the setup button one time, you're gonna be at the setup menu. If you are on the setup menu and you press setup again, you're gonna end up in the custom control. And if you push it back, you're gonna end up on the screen menu. So that's a really cool one. Let's go back to the other one. Faster access to custom control by pressing the setup button. Yes, okay, we just covered that. On the Wing Compact, main fader can be assigned to all channel. Main fader can be assigned to all channel. Main fader. Can I change my main or my main one fader? This is a request that I had before. Is it what I think it is? If I'm pressing on that one, no. Okay. If I go here, in fader, if I'm pressing that one, is there main fader 1? Can I replace that? No, I can't. Hold on, this is not where I want to be. Config, bus main, on the compact. If I remove that fader, nope, that's not it. Am I right, guys, by saying that we're talking about the physical fader on the right here that you can change to be something else? Or am I not understanding that? Also, I'm gonna quote this person here that says, yes, if you want to do a quick access to CC, you just long press the view button. But I've shown that one before. You long press the view button on top of the main fader, it will give you access to that. But it's probably more for the rack user that they added that setup, double setup, to end up in the custom control. Salut Guillaume. Hey. Uncle D from Solo 11 here, back in Montreal, and would love to have you to configure my wing with my DL32 stage box MIDI via connectivity. Sure. definitely we can try to do that. Let me know. Let me know in January when you have time. I'm currently way too busy with releasing YouTube video and doing all the Christmas party. Why only an insert? It should be an EQ as well. The answer was long press the EQ band button to reset the band. Okay, we're gonna take a look at that because I don't think I've ever done that before. It's probably been a feature for a while, but I never really had to do that. So EQ3, if you long press the EQ, yes, it does recall that. It should have a full reset here at the top. I know you can go initialize, EQ initialize, but can we just have like one knob here? We'll be done. It will be case closed. People can finally complain about something else if we have that one. There's also news in the bus setting. You can change the pan link to pan invert. Okay, well, we're gonna take a look at that. We're gonna go on a channel. And you can go here, pan link. Do we have? Yes, we do have pan link off. So when pan link is off, it means you need to physically move that slider for that mix. You can have pan link on and pan link reverse. Pan link reverse is really useful when you have drum overhead that are panned for front of house. You can just go pan reverse and it will basically invert those channel, right? So good thing. Really cool feature. We're gonna go over another feature here. On the Wing Compact, new keep main fader option. Okay. Where would that be? It's gonna be setup surface. Keep main fader. Okay, this is probably where you change it. Keep main fader option. Let's say can I go matrix 1? DCA. Okay, it changed my fader from here. So this is where you change the fader on the compact. If I go off, it's just nothing. Doesn't do anything. If I go main 1, it brings back my fader to be main 1, and I'm not showing you guys this. Okay, so if you are in setup, if you are in fader, main fader here, this is where you can change your main fader. Main fader, which is the one on the far right of the console. Main fader stay there all the time, which is a good thing. And the reason why I'm really a fan of changing that is most of the time we end up using matrix, and I would like to have my main fader being my matrix most of the time. That way I can do, like, let's say matrix 8. I can do my main going into a single matrix, and I can have that as a slider always there, and it doesn't move layer. Can you do every single channel? You can do every single channel, meaning if you want to have your channel 32 and always have your lead vocal here on hand, you can do that. Always have a channel here, or your guitar solo. No matter where you are on a console, you can always move it around. Let's see in that section. Keep main fader. So is it over a reset? What did the release notes say about that? New keep main fader option. Okay. Interesting. On the compact only this time we have DCA. We have a DCA split mode. Can be active by pressing the select button on the dessert DCA. What is DCA split mode? Is it? Oh, DCA spill, not split. DCA spill, okay. So DCA spill is not a new thing. You guys probably know what it is. I'm not going to spend too much time over it. USB 4-track recorder. You guys have no idea how far the screen is from me right now trying to read that. I'm reading the prompter here, but my screen is about 5 or 6 meters away from me, and I'm trying to read a PDF. And for some reason, I didn't sleep well, and my eye is twitching on the right. So every time that I try to read, this is why I read like crap right now, because my screen is too far out. USB 4-track recorder destination folder can be changed. Rec pat button. Okay, let's take a look at that. I have a USB stick in the console right now, so if I wanted to record, I can change that. And USB recorder. If I wanted to record right now, I can change the pat. So rec pat is now right here in the USB section. I can go here and change rec pat. No, can I? Can I rec pat? Is it supposed to? Is it supposed to work? Let me read that again. USB 4-track recorder destination folder can't be changed. USB rec pat button. Okay. So, no more information about that. So, right now it's... If I want to go, let's say, wing... Okay, now I see it. Okay. You need to change the... Let's say I'm going to go here and I'm going to do a new folder. Test recording. Test recording. Create. I'm creating a new folder. If I go in that folder and you press the rec pat, here at the bottom, you now have a USB /test rec/. So it's going to tell me that it's going to record my file, and we can do a quick file here. And my new file also. It's going to record everything here, basically, not on the root of the USB key where you will find your other folder. So it's not, I was expecting something to pop up, not expecting this to change here in the bottom. Thank you for the pointer, Tom, here. And now I can also delete those files. Come on, do I need to do this? I need to do this, and I can now delete the empty folder. Like nothing ever happened. All right. Cool new feature. So when you have a show, you can create yourself a show, basically. And you can create a folder for your show, and you can put all your files there so you don't have to look for them after, or you don't have 20 files on your root folder, not knowing which one it is. Return to the previous screen when custom control assigned to fader overview. Screen is pressed a long time. Okay, so let's say that you're here on the recording, USB recording page, and you long press this. It should bring you back. If I press it again, brought me back to my library. That was not the case before, apparently. Bus feed configuration screen allow copying channel fader level to send on fader. Okay, we're going to take a look at that. We're going to use our bus 1 here. We're going to go in the bus feed. And okay, you can do, basically they added option here. So from channel fader, that was not here, and send enable from channel mute. That was, there's a few options that were not there before. The paneling reverse also was an option that was not there before. So they added those new send level and new send enable and panning. Really cool. They keep expanding on that stuff. It's crazy, guy. And of course, I'm not showing you at all, because we've been going at this for almost 2 hours now. I'm selecting bus 1 channel, and we have the pan sending that can now be channel, center, and reverse. Send level minus infinite, minus 10, minus 0, or from channel. And send enable, send off, send on, and for mute. All right, we're gonna take, we went over the first page of those release note, and we're gonna take a look at the change in a few seconds. I just want to make sure that the chat is going okay. So I'm gonna say hi guys, it's been a while. How things are going here? Oh, sorry, the touch fader is under setup, general, and touch fader select. Okay, can we now have that affecting or user signal? Can I go here? Okay, now if I'm doing this, I can adjust the gain with the knob on the side, but I would need to have that on. Okay, cool. I'm gonna keep that on. Thank you very much, Patrick, for pointing that out. Appreciate that. Seems to me that you can block the physical main faders so that if you enter the compact in the bus, it will not change the bus master, but still be the main master. Yes, it's gonna lock it down, is my understanding of that thing. Works exactly like main fader stay there all the time. Sorry, I didn't click on your question, but that would be practical to use the setting send level from physical fader. What would be the use of practical? What would be the practical use of sending the level from physical fader position? It's basically if you want to have a number that is not in the setup there, basically. Thanks for going through all that, man. It's a pleasure. I'm learning that thing myself. Do you know where I can rename the channel on iPad Copilot apps? From the top of my head, no, I cannot do that, but I'm pretty sure somebody in the chat can do this for us. I'm not a huge Copilot app user. I really like to have my Wing in front of me. Like, I understand that it's not an option for everybody, but now when I go out, I want to have a console. I don't want to do iPad anymore. If it's an option. If it's not an option, I just don't do the gig anymore. I'm almost at that point. After you delete new rec folder, the rec path did not change. Is this a bug? Oh, interesting. We're gonna take a look at that. USB. We're gonna go here. Let's see what happened if I'm like that pad here is not existing. Let's see what happened if I try to record. It created that folder, and if I go stop, I'm gonna wait for that to turn on. It created the test rec folder. It created the file all in there. So I believe when you, well, actually there is no way for that to know that this file doesn't exist, is my understanding. But the internal software see that the path is not there, so it just created the file. Let's do it again just for fun. I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but for everybody who's really sensible to light, I think the screen flashing bright white like it did a few times there, I think maybe that should not happen. Usually I'm not affected by it at all. I don't care, but I think it could be problematic for some people. Let's do that again just for fun. Let's go record. Doesn't exist. It blink, you know, it blinks a little too much. I think maybe there's a way for that to not happen this fast or not happen at all. Can I go delete? No, I cannot, because it's not an empty directory. I can delete that again, confirm. I can delete that again, confirm. Maybe it's a refresh rate thing that can be adjusted. Like maybe the weight screen here should not be able to go that fast. Should have a fade in or a fade out. Maybe just half a second of popping up and not blinking 20 times a second like it just did, like really fast. Maybe that should be an option. Maybe we can send that to the dev and maybe they can fix that in the UI. Are we going to the new compressor with sound sample, please? Maybe I can get my 58 out and we can try something real quick. Let's do a quick scroll down of the new the change. We probably just can read through them. Don't have to go through all of them. We can just go here. Wrong menu. Change. So all dynamic processor are available in both gate and a compressor slot. Yes, I would really like to have that renamed as dynamic block 1 and dynamic block 2. This is a long time request. Docker plugin increased the whole time to 4,000 millisecond or 4 second. This is really good for everybody who's everybody's doing ducking, let's say on ambient music. With that thing, it's a really good time. 4 second is more than enough usually for MC to talk. So we can probably go take a look at that here quickly. In the gate block, let's say with a gate, the release time now goes up to 4,000 millisecond. Previously, I believe it was limited to 1,500 millisecond, but now you can go up to 4,000. It's probably going to be helpful to some people out there. Gate and Docker plugin added infinite range. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. What that means is here now in the range button, you can go from -3 all the way to minus infinite. What that means is, you guys probably remember my kick drum trick where I'm using a tone, an oscillator, and I'm using a gate on the oscillator that is triggered by a bass drum. Previously, we were stuck to -60 dB, and in some PA, it was not enough. You were still hearing a hum at 50 Hertz or 45 Hertz, depending on how you set the oscillator for that. Now that it can go to infinite, you would not hear that anymore. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go take a look at my video, how to get massive bass drum live. I'm showing you basically how to use an oscillator to create like a sub kick. But man, it's a really, really powerful way to get low end on your kick. Like steady, even low end. That's, you have to be careful with. You can probably destroy a pair of subs with that. So we're gonna do a couple questions here quickly. Hey, did first show on a new firmware. Dynamic EQ is awesome. I was sidechaining my guitar bus. Yes. You were sidechaining your guitar bus, dynamic EQ with vocal bus. Okay, you can do it from a bus to a bus, but you cannot do it from a bus to a channel, where I don't know if they changed that, but I don't think they did. No, they did not change that. The sidechain can only be a channel into a channel, and a bus into a bus. And you can thank me for that dynamic EQ on the bus later. I'm the one who requested that to do exactly what we're talking about. So your vocal bus can now sidechain your guitar bus, and you're good to go. When I released my video about the dynamic EQ on guitar, I asked that, then it happened. I think the most important change in Copilot app is the Wing Texas Christmas hat, and can be set to italic. Okay, good. Don't care. Sorry, I had to take a long distance call. Sound like you have to come to my studio in January. Okay, send me an email. My email's in the description. Send me an email. We can try to make that happen. I still have some times in January. I'm going to be out for at least 2 weeks to a location that I cannot disclose yet, to probably see some really cool stuff. And maybe I can... Okay, just to make it clear, I'm not going to NAMM, but maybe I could go to NAMM this year. Dual dynamic EQ now, yes. Let me show you that. On every single channel, we have a dual dynamic EQ. So it's in the bus. It's on a channel. Channel here, and it's even on the aux. The aux that previously, actually it's not on the aux, but previously the aux, you only had the PSA LE2A combo. Now you can do pretty much whatever you want in here. You only don't have the double dynamic EQ on the aux, but you have the new compressor in here too. Can we, hold on, sidechain aux to bus? Can we do that? Hold on. Sidechain aux to bus. Let's take a look at a bus. We're going to take bus 1 here. Can I sidechain? I can sidechain the channel here. To a bus, or a bus to a bus. Interesting. So you can have, I tried to think of a use case here. You can have a dynamic EQ, let's say on your guitar bus, to bring that down, and you can probably just, okay, you can now use any of the aux channel interesting, because you can either create a bus for your vocals. You can take a copy of your lead vocal, drop that into aux 8, because those are input channel. I would not suggest you to use your aux channel for your lead vocal, but you can also, hold on, what's the sound? Okay, it's the same thing for the aux. The aux can be sidechained from bus. Well, what you could do, because electric guitar usually don't require a lot of processing, you can probably run your electric guitar. You can set a source. Let's say channel 12 is your electric guitar. You drop the aux channel, let's say A8. You drop that into your config here. You drop that into your channel, let's say 12. It's not 12. Let's say the 12 is going to be your channel 8. You use that for your lead guitar. And now you can, on that channel, use a dynamic EQ. No, you cannot use a dynamic EQ on that one. But you could, hold on, I'm trying to think about it. You could, can you do that the other way around? Can you use that? No, you don't want to use an aux channel for your lead vocal because you won't have enough processing, I believe, for a lead vocal. Usually when I'm doing a lead vocal, I like to have, let's say, a source extractor first thing in there. Where is the source extractor? Source extractor. I like to have an EQ, so wing EQ. I like to have at least a LA2A. And after that, you would need an insert point. And also that you cannot do it. I'm just going to say that I would prefer to have something else. But you can, you cannot do that. I thought for a second that you could use, you could do it with a compressor. If you want to do it with a compressor, just not a dynamic EQ, you can use your vocal bus. Let's say that you are using bus 10. You can have a expander here or a compressor here and use that. Or is there any other thing that could use like a dynamic EQ? No, there's really no way to have a dip in the mid guitar here, so no, never mind. Don't mind what I said there, but it's a good thing. I think this is new, right? I don't remember being able to sidechain from the aux into a bus, but you can do a bus into a bus. Hold on, what am I missing? You can get the signal on a channel from a bus, can't you? Yes, you can. Basically, what I want to achieve is have a sidechain. Let's take or bus 9. Let's take our bus 9. What I'm trying to achieve here is having my bus 9 being my guitar bus. So I'm gonna name it guitar, and 10 is gonna be my vocal. What I want to do is I want to have my compressor on my bus being a, let's say, dual dynamic EQ. And I want my trigger here to come from my bus, and I want that to be pre-fader. That way when my vocals are going, I can mix up and down my vocal bus if needed. But my vocal bus can be used as a trigger for my guitar bus so that I can remove the mid-range, which is usually the range of the vocal, somewhere around 1.1K. You can do something like this, and you can do 3 to 6 dB of range. You can have that going and carve out the mid-range of your guitar when your vocals are going. And that was not previously doable. I just did, that was a problem then. I wanted to do that on the guitar, but from a vocal. I tried to do it the other way around, because now that we have dynamic EQ on the bus, thing that we did not have before. Thanks everybody at Behringer. Use the compressor voiceover mode for carving. Yes, that would definitely work. Thank you, Robert. I'm gonna take that call later. Yes, you can definitely use the crossover mode to carve that out. You can use the mid-range. But basically what I wanted to do, and you cannot do before, is have exactly what I just did here. So we just decide to sidechain the bus. Yeah, but I tried to do it without using a bus. I thought I could do it with a channel, but because there is no dynamic EQ on the channel, on the on the aux. Basically, what I want to do is have a single guitar into a oh, come on. I'm probably getting tired because we've been going at this for 2 hours. What I tried to do is replace my guitar channel by a aux channel to have it being sidechained by a bus. But you don't have a dynamic EQ on the aux channel. The only way it can be done is by doing it, like Rob said, on, hold on, let me grab, is by changing the key filter. If I'm doing a key filter of a bandpass, something like that, it would detect only the vocal in that range, and it would drop it down accordingly, only when triggered by that range. But the thing is, I don't want to be trigger. I want the EQ to be carved out. So that's kind of gonna work, but I don't want the... I want the result to be this. I don't want the trigger to be this, if I'm clear or not. But basically, you can do it with a bus and a bus. It's gonna work. Is it possible to use delay in user channel? Really good question. User channel, what is a user channel? I know user source or user signal, but there is no delay as far as I understand here. You have polarity, gain, and phantom power, and non-consecutive. The beauty of having the user signal is have non-consecutive channel being paired as stereo, because you can do this, but there is no no one-side delay, because the delay are applied to the channel, not the input in the user patch. Yes. So to answer the question, can we sidechain the dynamic EQ now? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. There is no processing on the user channel patch. Yeah, there's no processing on it. Duplicate the vocal to the aux and then use a compressor or the guitar bus. The crossover mode will affect only the part of the spectrum. Use key filter on the... Okay, it's not... I thought it was the detector. Hold on, did I get that wrong on my whole life? I thought when you were doing a compressor move like that, when you change the compressor key filter, it would act on the detector, not the overall signal. I would really need to try that out. Okay, if it's working that way, then, and I'm pretty sure Rob is right, maybe I got that wrong my whole life, then we never needed that. No, it listen only to that band. Yeah, this is my understanding. It's not going to compress only that band. It's only going to listen to that band. On the bus, not the aux. Let's go here. That dynamic EQ. Yeah. I think I'm a little lost here because we went back and forth. So I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure on the aux, and yeah, maybe tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm convinced that on the aux, what I changed there was the input of the detector of the compressor, not the range that the compressor is affecting. If you route the RUSA signal to the channel, you get the complete channel processing. Yes. If I'm taking a channel here and we're using channel 1, we're using the user signal. I can use the user patch as my source for that channel. We definitely have delay on here. standard compressor, not the others. Okay, we're gonna need to talk about that. Any change in snapshot show? We're gonna take a look at the other things that I've changed. Hold on, let me bring that page up just a tiny bit. Actually, we're just gonna read through it, and if there's something interesting that we want to take a look at, we'll take a look at it. But otherwise, I'm gonna try to wrap around that stream. We've been going for 2 hours plus here, which is a good thing, but I don't want that to get boring. So optimize channel source color for TFT display in expanding color section. We covered that before. Increase maximum remote client number from 16 up to 24. Make sure your network bandwidth can support this. So now you can have up to 24 users connected to a console, which is a really great thing. Added channel names to bus speed configuration screen. Okay, let me take a look at that quickly. Hold on. Let me take a look at that quickly. Let's go in a bus. Channel feed, we have channel name. Okay, we do have now channel name here. Like it's pretty small, but USB 1 and 2, 2-track. When you can select them all like this. You're gonna have the name of the channel here, which is a good thing, because otherwise it was confusing just a tiny bit. Same thing for the bus. You can now see guitar, vocal, it's all there. What else? Improved dynamic crossover filter and visualization. Hold on, it's too small. I'm gonna need to switch to my other page here, which is a tiny bit bigger. Improved dynamic crossover filter and visualization. I cannot say that word. Shaded area is compressed. Okay. Added notch filter to dynamic sidechain. Okay. Really cool. That was not there before. Added option to stop SD recording when an error pop-up show up. Okay. So we're not going to do that, but definitely something cool to know. So if you have a bug, you can stop that and not corrupt your full file. Console initialization. Now, override parameter selected in the global save screen. So if you initialize, you initialize. Move the alt switch from connected to in content category in the snapshot scope. So okay, that's a little different in the show control. Somebody was talking about that before. So definitely a thing to know if you're using the show control stuff. If you move the alt switch, or if you are using the alt switch in that. Autorider plugin maximum hold time can now show correctly as infinite. Okay. Previously it was not showing infinite, I believe. Improve parameter resolution on some plugin parameters, so that's really at large. Graphics fix on the Pulsar EQ, the Fortimo, and the 110 EQ source extractor. All right. Firmware file name for Wing BK renamed to full size. So okay, so the full size is now all the same. Usually they were different. Okay, a couple quick fix. We're gonna take some question after that. Tape machine plugin frequency response, it's been fixed. The no stressor plugin introducing unwanted distortion at certain parameter combination. Yes, thank you very much for fixing that. I don't know who said that it was his fault, but thank you. USB audio interface playback stop after error causing by electrostatic discharge. Okay, really a good thing. So they fixed that, or as best as they could. Sporadic issue with the USB audio interface and 41 for 44.1K sample rate for the few people that were using that. Graphic EQ fader section using cursor button on the wing and the black wing. Okay, not my case here. I'm rocking a compact. Shimmer reverb and stereo flanger reset button. Okay, cool. CC channel solo button following exclusive solo selecting. Okay, so that was all for probably all the rack user out there. Wrong MIDI CC2 port naming string for the wing rack and wing compact. Yes, that caused me MIDI problem for a long time. User patch polarity ignore under specific condition. This is now fixed. And user patch not following the mute status of assign source. And that's about it for that firmware update. We covered a lot of ground here. Wow. Okay, let's take a few more questions. First, we're going to say hi to Pancho. Good to see you, man. The last change firmware file name mean you don't need folders anymore on the USB. Small thing, but those of us with multiple versions of the console. Okay. Thank you very much for pointing that out. The idea was to give the delay only to the left channel, for example, a guitar, to have a stereo guitar with a left delay on one fader. I think it's still possible. It's still impossible. No, it's still impossible. We were talking about that before when doing a user source. What you can maybe do is, let me look at a channel quickly. Yeah, you would need to do 2 channel for that. You would need to have like separate channel for that, but we'll take a look at that. Yeah, you can do that on 2 channel and put that into a DCA. Put that into a group. That will work. I don't think it made guitar stereo. It's called the has effect. Yeah. Yeah, it's to create some depth or stereo perspective on that. But there's many ways to do that with guitar. When it comes to miking up guitar cab or any instrument, you can do crazy stuff. What I usually like to do on small combo is having a mic at the front and a mic at the back. I usually create a custom option where I have mic at the front being normal, having the mic at the back being out of polarity, and I'm adjusting with the trim the different gain to make that sound almost at the same level, tiny bit less of the back microphone, and I pan that into a mono source. I'm using only 1 fader for that, but it's a great way to make a combo sound like a Mezzo 412, and you keep that mid-range there. It's just adding that a little extra. And also what you can do is not use the whip fully closed. You can use the width and have the guitar, maybe if the guitar player is on the right of the stage, you can just open up that width and having the bright mic, depending on what side you're going, you have the bright mic just on that side and the other side as the low hand. Like if you were to walk in front of the stage and not being in front of the speaker, you would hear the back of the end from the stage. So there's really a bunch of things that you can do playing with psychoacoustic with those guitar cab with only 2 mic, or doing the 2 mic in phase, 421, 57, and 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and pan that out. There's many stuff that you can do on guitar. Just to bug my invention, and I'm really proud of that. Yeah, congratulations, man. Let's do the compressor test. Okay, maybe we can do a quick compressor test. Why DCA select does nothing? DCA name deck is hidden. I'm not sure I understand. DCA select does nothing because a DCA is not a channel, it's just a fader remote. call it a day and see you next time. Yeah, I'm about to do that too. So we've been going at this for a long time. We're gonna take a couple more questions and we're gonna head out. Actually, a bunch of phone call to send back, and I'm probably in need of another coffee, and it's probably time for me to grab breakfast. DCA naming is hidden. Let me hold on. If we go here in the DCA, let me start from a channel. Right now I'm on a channel, I'm on channel 1. If I click the DCA page and I click view, I have the DCA page in front of me. If you select the DCA, nothing happened because there is no channel in my DCA. Let's build a DCA quickly. That's going to be my DCA. If I click on that DCA, it does nothing like I was expecting to. It's not DCA spill. I think I would need to turn that on. DCA spill is in the surface. Main spill, DCA spill. If you turn that on and you click DCA spill, as soon as I did that, my DCA popped out in front of me. All the channel that I have in that DCA. Now if I click DCA again, hold on, let's go DCA 1. Yeah, all the channel that I have in my DCA just popped up in front of me. If I go here, we're gonna put a little less. Let's say that we're just gonna put these two in my DCA 1. If I go here, yep, that's my DCA 1. I'm in spill mode for my DCA. I can select my channel and I can move on to another layer. I can go back to my DCA. And if I select the DCA again, on DCA 2, there is nothing to spill. If I go DCA 1, the only thing that it can spill is these two channel. Does it make sense? Did I not understand your question? Marinette, thank you very much. Thanks to you, man. I appreciate every single one of you who come here and participate in those live streams. I'm nothing without you guys. To rename a DCA, you have to use the view menu, then tap on the screen. Select button doesn't bring it up. Nope. Yeah, it's a hard way to rename a DCA, and I agree. But this is not something that you should do on the fly. Like, it should be your show prep to have that page up. You built your DCA, you built all your DCA, and once you're done, you assign. You go out of there, and you hold on, and you set your channel count for every single DCA. You're switching in between DCA with the console, and you do your thing. But yeah, this is not something that you should do on the fly. Maybe you have to from time to time, but definitely not something you should do like right off the bat. Or otherwise, just a couple clicks. It's not the end of the world. It's not super fast, but yeah, I thought you guys were talking Polish. This is why I don't understand. I don't understand what you're saying, right? I thought I was going. I thought I was losing my English, but yeah, no, it's 4 p.m. here. But this morning I went to visit some storage. Like I said previously, I'm doing some stuff in the background. You guys probably gonna be with me for a long ride next year. I'm building some stuff. Sorry, it was faster to talk to him. Yeah, don't worry. I'm all about that. English being my second language. Don't worry about that. So, yeah, I was busy the whole morning. Had to jump in to do that live stream. Had a really good time doing it. Thank you for showing up. Dan, thank you for your time. Always appreciate having you around. I always appreciate having every single one of you around. On that note, guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you did find some really good time. We're going to do the compressor test next week. I'm sorry about that. I really wanted to do, but I just feel like the momentum is gone for me. I've been on camera for a couple hours now. I need to rest. Next week, we're going to do the compressor test. We're going to take a listen to them. I'm going to try to have at least kick, snare, and some bass going. Maybe I can use some Logic stuff to see how they react. Until next week. And I'm going to have a video coming up this week. I just need to finish to edit that, but it's going to be a wing video coming up later this week. But worst case scenario, we're going to see you guys Monday. Until the next one, I want you guys to please take care of yourself. No matter what time it is in the world, go rest. Go have a lunch. Go have a beer, a coffee. Have a good time. See you guys.